This is Miss Andrea from Not Another Homeschool Vlog. Today I am participating in an open collaboration with the Ingrid Chronicles, and so her links will be down below. She has given us a number of prompts to answer, so I'm going to be looking whichever end they end up at. I will be looking at the prompts from time to time so that I can answer them for you. So what's going to happen is there's going to be several of us who do this open collaboration, and you'll get the links to everyone who's done them, as well as back to the originator, who is the Ingrid Chronicles. So let's do it. Okay. Share the top 3 reasons, your why, for homeschooling. So let's just start off by saying I am a veteran homeschooler, which means my students are grown. If you want to hear how an adult homeschooler feels about homeschooling, you can check out the recent series that I've done where my daughter and I had a chat about homeschooling. So I'm going to need to look back, way back in time as to my whys for homeschooling. And honestly, I never thought that I would homeschool my kids. I never thought that that would be a thing. However, I was witnessing very small children, grades 1 and 3rd, when I finally decided to go ahead and homeschool, struggling with depression. And it was depression based on things that were happening in school. So I knew I needed to act and help save what I was seeing as a broken spirit in my children. And that it kind of grated against my husband and my philosophy for raising children, which was to not unnecessarily frustrate children. So one of the whys that we decided to homeschool is because we saw our children becoming beyond frustrated, probably more despondent, and decided to change things. The second why would be academic excellence. We just knew that my husband and I, were pretty intelligent, and we wanted our children to also, reach their full potential academically. And what we were getting was that schools, because we had moved across the country a few times, schools were saying that our son was probably gifted and they would get around to testing him. And then they were saying that our daughter was ADHD. And we're looking at both kids and we're going, they both seem equally gifted. We need to do something to look into this. And so when things just started getting weird at school, and the final school we had our son in decided that he wasn't gifted because he had physical ailments, and that our daughter needed to be medicated to make her be more still, we knew that academic excellence wasn't on the forefront of the mind of those who were in charge of our children's education. And we didn't know if we could provide academic excellence within ourselves, but we knew that we couldn't make things worse than it was. So with academic excellence in mind, we removed them from a situation where they weren't being nurtured and where they were in fact being stunted. Our third reason for homeschooling at the time probably wouldn't be a reason that we would choose now. But when you have small children, your priorities are different from when you have adult children. And at the time, we felt that we wanted our children to remain children for as long as possible. We saw a lot of acceleration of more adult topics being introduced at younger and younger ages in school. And we just wanted to maintain some level of innocence and allow our children to mature at their own rate. And when the topics came up, then we could discuss things with them instead of it being discussed in an awkward classroom situation where kids were going to start teaching each other and misinformation was going to happen. So it was about, I guess, maturity and I guess it was about maturity and our reluctance to have other other people decide when our children were ready for certain topics. We wanted to be able to do that based on our children's personal maturity. Why do I feel different about those things now? Because there are just things you cannot shield kids from. And in retrospect, and speaking to them, they're like, yeah, no, we still have those conversations, whatever. So there's that. In your homeschooling experience, what are your strengths and areas that need improvement? I'm a really good learner. I'm a really good self-taught learner. I can teach myself anything, and that's really important in homeschooling because sometimes you need to reteach or refresh something in your brain before you can present it to your child. Sometimes you need to teach or refresh something in your brain before you can present it to your child. At the same time, I'm really good about knowing when I can't do something. And when I can't do something, I'm very quick to find other resources to fill that in. And I often say to people that you don't have to know everything to homeschool your kids. You have to know what you don't know, and you have to know how to ask for help. So areas that need improvement, I mean, homeschooling is long past for me. Right now, I work with other people and their kids to facilitate their homeschooling. But as a young mother in my mid-30s, patience was an issue. And how I countered my short patience sometimes was to issue a timeout to myself, not to the children. I would go on a timeout. I had a little space in my closet. I had a little blanket in my closet. And when I was ready to blow my lid, I would say, Mom needs a timeout. And I would go upstairs and I would lay down on my blanket in the closet for 10, 15 minutes and recharge myself so that, to counter that issue that I had with patience at that point in time in my life. So there may be days when self-doubt creeps in regarding our capabilities as homeschooling moms. Usually from other people planting them there, trying to erode your self-esteem and your decisions. Share 1 to 2 affirmations that serve as a reminder that you are enough. I'm just this really hard, jaded type of person. And so I don't know how affirming my affirmations are to other people. But if you have a harder personality and a dry sense of humor like I do, you might like them. And one of those is, I can't mess up my children any worse than the school is doing. That was my number 1 affirmation. I can't do worse than they are doing at this moment. So that was my first affirmation to get rid of self-doubt. My second affirmation is very important because, as I mentioned, family, friends, people who have made decisions outside of what you have made will take your decisions onto themselves as your judgment on them. When what you're really trying to do is just make decisions for you and your family. So I would have to remind myself on a daily basis that people's problems with me and people's problems with my decision to homeschool really had very little to do with me, but with their own conflicts within themselves. So say it with me. People's problems with my decision to homeschool have more to do with their personal conflicts than with what I am doing. And those are my affirmations. So, also, it says here, professional development is not required for homeschooling. However, if you are homeschooling your children, then you are a professional home educator. I never thought of the word professional before, but okay. Professional home educator. I am a professional home educator now, and I'm a professional home educating consultant. So I'm going to step into that and enjoy that. So share 1 to 3 resources you can share with other homeschooling families that contribute to your homeschool professional development. Books, conventions, workshops. Y'all, I don't like conventions. They irritate me because it often seems like a lot of people telling other people how to parent, and I'm just that type of person that feels like everyone's got to figure out what's right for them. So I really have to think about this for a moment. My current professional development is me actually getting a master's degree in curriculum development because of what I'm doing now post homeschooling and helping other people homeschool and get into college. So that's for me. I don't recommend it. It is not easy. I am using a free online university, University of the People. Free as in you don't pay to enroll, but you pay to get credit for the courses, as in to take the final exams. But it's so much cheaper than anything else. So that's just something I'm doing. I don't recommend it unless you see yourself in the future heading a homeschool organization or maybe becoming a principal of a school at some time later. That's what my personal professional development is about. Other resources, Khan Academy. I talk about this a lot as a resource for homeschooled kids to help them to independently grow through the math curriculum. But I also found that for me, because a lot of us are insecure in math, I put myself through Khan Academy, and every now and then I'll go back into 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade and just do the year again. It only takes a couple of months if you've done it before, just to keep my personal math development up to par, my personal math skills up to par, because math is not like riding a bike. You don't just get on it and you ride again. You really got to refresh it. So I constantly do math because it helps me fight the insecurity that I'm not good at math. And so when a student comes to me with a math issue, I've done enough personal development, personal math curriculum to have the skills that I need to help them. And I think besides that, just joining a homeschool group, and not just joining, like I belong to like a couple of homeschool groups in my state with thousands of people from all over my state. I like to join a small homeschool group of maybe 10 to 12 families online who have something very niche in common. Back when I was homeschooling, one of those groups was an African-American homeschool group because, it is what it is. And that just helped me to not know that I was crazy sometimes, because culturally in the homeschooling world, we tend to be more stringent with our children. And so what I was doing didn't necessarily match what other homeschoolers were doing. So if there's something unique about the way you homeschool, maybe you all unschool, maybe you all do unit studies, maybe you all working toward CLEP exams. Find a smaller group of maybe a dozen families or so. Having a small group of people to talk to who have things in common with you is a type of professional development, because you have people at the same point where you are at any given time. And, you can say, hey, this is going on. Am I right? Am I wrong? And they'll give you their experience, and you'll be able to level set yourself and adjust. And I just found having that small group was the best professional development that I could have ever had. So that is all I have. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy the collaboration hosted by Ingrid from the Ingrid Chronicles. This is going up Friday, October 22nd. I am making this far in advance. Why? Because my master's program is killing me. Ingrid will have links to everyone's videos, and I will have the appropriate links below. So, until next time.